Anyhow, joining us right now, he is the face of New York Knicks fandom. He is the creator. He is the host. He is the brains behind Knicks Fan TV. I have enjoyed some of his performances over the last couple of weeks, really just the ones that they lost. And that, of course, is CP, the Fanchise CP. Congratulations. That was a hell of a win last night. Good talking to you, man. How you feeling?
Ev, happy Friday. Mr. Barber, how we doing, man?
Fantastic.
Shout out to Luke, man.
All's
how
good,
we
CP.
doing, man?
I'm doing great. I want you to walk me through, because as an IBO, as an independent basketball observer, last night gave me indigestion between the swings and the anger and the excitement and the pain. Walk me through how that 2.5 hours felt for you watching this, especially amongst Knicks fans last night.
It was a classic cardiac Knick affair, man. I mean, we're used to it as Knicks fans. We've been seeing it all year. We've seen it for years. And this is what the Knicks do, man. This is why you need a pacemaker close by, because it is not for the faint of heart. I mean, to go up 15 in the first quarter, second quarter, it's all but gone, and Detroit takes the lead off of a Malik Beasley three-point heave at half court.
Yeah.
And then, they get back on track in the third, and then the fourth quarter, it all goes down the tubes. The place is rocking. The pressure is rising. These guys, the Knicks are just making boneheaded play after boneheaded play, not seeing the offensive movement. It was rough, man. I'm not going to lie to you. The watch party went from raucous to you can hear a pin drop. But, they just had to make it close, because as we've seen all year, you keep it close and Brunson will deliver. And it was a shot for the ages, man.
Right. And now I think when you get to this point, you start talking about the one good thing you'll take away from the first round series and one bad thing. The good thing, you just said it, it's Jalen Brunson. He can be clutch at any moment. But if there's something that really worries you that you saw in this first round series, what is it? Is it the disappearance of whoever on certain days? Because Cat was was yesterday, a couple days ago. It was both Cat and Jalen. Like, what worries you most going into the next series?
It's the disappearance of the ball, the ball movement, man. Like, they seem to go away from what gets them out to these leads. They started off at the gates really well, and it was by cutting, by moving the ball, by setting guys up, by getting their paint touches. And then in the second quarter and those fourth quarter runs by the Pistons, and listen, give credit to the Pistons. Their defense can be very stifling at times. But, the Knicks, when they face those pressure-type defenses, and we've seen this in the regular season, they tense up. They don't move the ball. They pound the ball a little too much. It becomes way too much isolation. And then before you know it, all the momentum is going to the other team. And that's the biggest concern right now.
So let's get to the isolation. Because I heard you after the loss that made it, game 4, game 5. I'm losing track of these freaking games. Yeah. And it was, dude, we play too much iso ball. Dude, Jalen Brunson's playing too much hero ball. And I understand the critique. But wasn't that last night, too, in the final 2 minutes that we're all going crazy about? It's the same thing. So we're good with it or we're not good with it? Where are we with it?
I mean, Evan, over the course of a game, you got to get other guys involved. You got to get other guys into a rhythm. Now, when it comes to your final 2-minute offense, you're going to have to live and die with it. But with Jalen Brunson, the clutch player of the year, he's shown you that he's good for it more times than not. And it was so interesting because it was almost a play before the final three-pointer where Asar Thompson stifled him.
Yeah.
He stifled him into a shot violation. And so it was very frustrating to see, man. But like I said, with the game on the line, they just had to keep it within striking distance, and he delivered again, man. It's incredible.
And look, that's the difference in the series. Going into this, look, we all have respect for Cade Cunningham and what he can be. He's only 23 years old. But Jalen Brunson has already proven that he can be ice in the veins in moments like this. And you're 1,000% right, because Cade Cunningham was not ready for that moment. We saw it in the final few minutes of this game. We saw it throughout the series. Meanwhile, Jalen Brunson, who did not have the greatest start to the fourth quarter, won for his first 11. Keep it close late. Jalen will make plays. Cade Cunningham won't. And that's essentially what we saw in the final few minutes of this game.
And it's no disrespect to Cade Cunningham. He's had a marvelous season and deserves a ton of credit. He didn't win Most Improved, but he deserves a ton of credit for turning this Pistons season around. They tripled their wins, and he spearheaded a lot of that. But, I mean, the takes that he was the best player in this series had no logic to it. It was completely forced around the national media airwaves. I mean, Jalen Brunson has been a clutch player for a number of years now. All-NBA. He's going to be All-NBA again this year. Multi-time All-Star, and a guy who he averaged 30 points per game last year in the playoffs. So how we say that Cade just automatically is the guy, I thought it was continued disrespect against Jalen Brunson. But you know what? You got to give a lot of credit to Leon Rose, because when he got here, guys, I remember the back pages when Leon Rose got here, and it was, the Knicks hired this super agent, and he's going to bring some former clients. And on the back pages, it was like Chris Paul, LeBron James,
right?
Superstar. No one expected that the guy that was going to take this team to this point was Jalen Brunson. It's a classic New York story, man.
It really is. You didn't expect it either. I mean, none of us did. Who the hell would expect Jalen Brunson's going to turn into a legitimate, we're chanting at him on the road, flopper superstar that he's become?
Yeah, and that's the evolution, right? It started as the underdog, like, wow, this guy's really good, to now being a villain. We're so used to talking about Nick killers. Jalen Brunson was the Detroit Piston killer, man, and he got the last laugh in Detroit. It was a storybook ending.
How much did they benefit from Cat fouling out? Mitch is on the floor. He impacts that Cade Cunningham wild attempt at a layup right before the Brunson three. Yeah. Do you think they benefited them that Mitch is out there and Cat's sitting there with the towel on his head?
I was screaming for Mitchell Robinson in the fourth quarter, and when he finally got in and altered the shot attempt, the layup attempt by Cade Cunningham, I was just screaming, Mitch, 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 because, look, they cannot close games without Mitchell Robinson in the game. That if Tom Thibodeau is going to have to decide, is it Hart or is it Mikal Bridges that's going to sit down in crunch time? It's a tough decision. It's not easy, but they have to understand that when they go up against Boston or any team, Karl Anthony Towns is vulnerable, so is Jalen Brunson, and you have to make sure that you have most of your best defenders out there on the court to close out these games.
So is it crazy then for me to say the guy who should sit is Cat himself, especially if he's going to be non-existent offensively in the fourth quarter?
You know what? It's not a bad idea. All things on the table against the Celtics. I've thought about that a lot, Evan, especially when Mitchell Robinson was ramping up. Like, sometimes, I think I said it on the show when I was in studio with you guys, like, sometimes the best five might be substituting Karl Anthony Towns and putting Mitchell Robinson in there at the four and playing OG at the five, and playing OG Anunoby at the four with Bridges and Hart and Brunson. Or maybe it's McBride if he gets his head on straight. But that might be the sacrifice that the Knicks have to go to in order to get a win against Boston. The defense is going to have to be there.
Now, I'm going to say something that's going to sound sarcastic and petty, but I really mean it. I mean it as a compliment. I do. I promise you.
There we go.
Mikal Bridges has taken a lot of heat, not from me, but from Knicks fans concerning, oh, my God, 5 first-round picks. Can you believe it? Don't you think that tip-in on the Brunson miss is worth at least 2 first-round picks? He got you to the next round.
I'll tell you what, the dunk on Cade was worth the picks.
That's what Sadiq was saying, yeah.
We didn't know he had that in him. We were looking for that all year. That is the New York grit. But, in these playoffs, it's the little things. It's the hustle. It's the 50-50 balls that you have to get to. And give credit, man. Mikal Bridges was sensational. The putback tip-in was fantastic. He found his three-point shot. Jalen Brunson was feeding him. He had a cut to the basket that Jalen Brunson fed him to that ended up in the layup as well. So, give a lot of credit to him. Hopefully you can see that a bit more consistently. They're going to need that against Boston. I continue to say that, Mikal Bridges is the guy that can swing things for the Knicks in the positive direction. He's just got to be there for him on a nightly basis. And you know what? On that putback there, Evan, he got to that position because Jalen Duren was so focused on boxing out Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And that's the gravity, that's the impact of a Mitchell Robinson. You got to put a body on him, and that freed up Mikal Bridges for a nice putback.
Mitch made a hell of an impact. We're talking to CP, the franchise. Knicks advanced. They beat the Pistons last night, as we all know. Monday night in Boston, Game 1 against the Boston Celtics. They begin that best-of-7 series. All right, how about this bench? Deuce McBride hasn't been great. Mitch has been very valuable. We haven't seen Tom Thibodeau expand the bench. Campaign, he plays a little bit. We saw him make a big impact in Game 1. Do you see Thibodeau impacting who he plays and how often he uses his bench in this upcoming series against the Celtics?
It's got to be an all-hands-on-deck approach. And the problem is with Tibbs is he's such a creature of habit, if you will, that it's hard to see him really being ready to adjust on the fly. And you got to throw the kitchen sink at these guys. And right now, Deuce McBride, look, he needed to be the sixth man for these guys. be a 3-and-D player, and he's been brutal, man. He's been brutal. He's not hitting his shots. Last night, his decision-making under duress was really bizarre, and so he had to come out of the game. Campaign, it's a flip of a coin what you're going to get from him. He had the 14 points in Game 1. He plays 5 minutes in Game 2, but the rest of the series, he was pretty average. And so, look, against Boston, who's going to let the three-pointers fly, I think Landry Shamet has to get a look because he's a guy, a high-volume three-point shooter that won't be scared to shoot. And maybe even a Delon Wright, who occasionally will knock down a three, but at 6'5", he's got some length, he's got some size, and you hope he can play some defense out there because they're going to need it as well. So Thibs is going to have to go deep into that bench.
No doubt. You look at the way Boston can kill you. They can kill you from three. We saw it in the regular season. The Pistons shot 24%, 28%, 27%. Cade Cunningham was not a threat making threes in this series at all. It is such a different animal going up against this Boston team because it also felt like the Pistons had plenty of open looks throughout this series. They just didn't make their shots. Yeah,
see, and this is a complete difference when you're going up against the champs. You're not going up against, high-volume chuckers like Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. You're going up against 1 through 5 for Boston. They can let it fly. You have Pritchard off the bench, Sam Hauser as well. And so that where the Knicks got in trouble in the Detroit series was the untimely turnovers that would lead to Detroit baskets. But with Boston, those untimely turnovers can turn into back-breaking, momentum-breaking threes. And before you know it, a 3-point game it's a 13-point game before you blink. So the Knicks have to be very careful there. Boston's 3-point octane offense definitely deserves respect, but it starts with Jason Tatum, man. Jason Tatum, a lot has been made about Jalen Brunson, but Jason Tatum has been an MVP for Boston this year. He's been in complete control of his game. And, look, obviously you start with OG Anunoby on him, but the Knicks are going to be tested there with Tatum at the helm.
So what's your gut? As we get set, we got 3 days, so you got a few days to enjoy this, and I think today is mostly an enjoyment day, but obviously Monday night it all starts. What's your gut feeling on how this series plays out?
Look, man, my heart wants to say Knicks in 7, but as an analyst, Evan and
yes,
Tiki,
of course.
I think the way that this Knicks team is very talented, but I don't believe they have the coaching edge in this series. I don't believe that they have the quality decision-making across the roster and the bench depth to beat Boston. They're going to have to play perfect games to get this done, but I do believe they will win some games. And I'll go with Celtics in 6.
Celtics in 6. That's very fair. Look, one thing I respect about you is you call like it is. You call like I enjoyed. I did it this morning because last night I was in no mood to hear you guys gloat and be excited. So
you didn't watch last night?
No, this morning I went back on YouTube and I watched that. I needed some time, bro. So I watch it, and you guys do a great job, and you pop on. And what I thought was so brilliant from you is the first 3 minutes, you're excited, and you should be, by the way. No one should rain on that parade. That was an incredible ending. And then as the excitement is ending, you're like, they almost blew this game. They almost choked. And I'm like, well said, bro, because that's exactly what happened. It's mixed emotions, right?
It is. It's mixed emotions, man. But, that's the drawback. Look, we can enjoy the Brunson heroics and really praise him for what he's done for this team, and all that's good. But there's things that are just not there with this team to take them over the top this year. And like I said, from the coach to the execution in pressure situations by these guys, it's not always crisp, it's not always clean, and so that's why it's hard to put them over this Boston team, and the bench depth is also a negative.
No, I get it. We'll definitely talk next week, CP. Great work as always. Thank you very much for popping on today, my man.
Well, let me ask you one quick question, man.
Of course.
Games 3 and 4 at the Garden. Will you be in attendance, or are you going to be flipping your tickets and taking advantage of our fame here in the second round?
Couple of things I want to address. I was going to Game 7. I was set to go. It was I was ready. I was excited. My wife approved it. I was ready.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, your team took care of business. Here's my issue, and I honestly, because I think you at least understand where I'm coming from as a Nets fan. The Game 4 situation is very tricky because the lottery is that night. My whole season has been waiting for these freaking ping pong balls, and I don't know if I got the stomach to watch it happen like outside of Madison Square Garden or inside Madison Square Garden and then watch a playoff game after I'm relegated to the 7th pick in the draft.
Yeah. You know what, man? You know the Spurs are going to get it anyway. You can watch it on your phone, come to the Garden. We'll be in the building, man. It'll be a good time.
All right. I'll keep you posted. Thank you, CP.
Fellas, have a great weekend, man. Thank you.
Man. CP, the franchise.